Alright, welcome back to Flight Sim 2024. Welcome to Sishen Airport here in South Africa. And as you can see in front of us today, we are back in the Kodiak 100 from SimWorks Studios. And what we're going to be doing today is running a load of cargo. We have a look in here, you can see this is the cargo version, also with the nice fat tires. And we're going to be running a pretty substantial load of cargo all the way from here down to East London. So looking at about 2.5 hours worth of flying all the way down to East London on the coast. And we're going to be pretty heavy today. We're just looking at the planning I was doing. We're only 3 kgs under our maximum takeoff weight. So nice full load of cargo and plenty of fuel to get down to East London for our just under 3 hours flight. The other thing I am going to do is, if we swap over here over to the tablet, is I'm actually going to go through flight planning with this app that I found, which is always linked in the description below if I'm flying the Kodiak. But I'm actually going to set up my flight plan. I've created the flight plan in SimBrief already, but this Kodiak performance app is really cool for sorting out like your weight and balance and all of that cool stuff. So I'm going to go through setting that up. So we're going to create a new trip. Okay, so this will be Sishen over to East London. So we depart from Sishen. It's probably going to complain about the weather. Okay, no, it's fine, because I think there's no actual weather station here. Yeah, there we go. That's what I thought. So that's cool. Our alternate today is Port Elizabeth. It's going to do that a few times as we populate some stuff in here. Okay, just one pilot today, no passengers. I'll check out my cruising altitude on the SimBrief plan in just a bit. 409 nautical miles is our distance, which matches what FSEconomy says as well. We're flying IFR, so I am going to be using Beyond ATC also. Then I'm just going to switch this over to gallons, because I filled up with FSEconomy with 130 gallons is what we could fit in with the cargo that we have, and then we'll just pop this back to kgs. Why do I feel like that didn't convert? Okay, no, it did. Okay, so just under 400 kgs of fuel on board. We need 636 kgs with that alternate, so we might actually need to switch alternates. PE is pretty far, because we require 362 kgs of fuel to East London. So my plan is, along the way, we'll keep an eye on the weather at East London. The weather looks perfectly fine, and if it looks like it's changing and we're going to need some extra fuel, or we have the possibility of diverting, is we'll stop at like Blum or something like that to refuel. So we've just got enough fuel to make it. This is probably a little bit high. So yeah, we're just over what we need. Okay, my seat configuration is cargo, that's correct. So we can just put in some weights over here. Now, our weight today, let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, so we actually have 1,150 kgs of cargo today. So let's see. Now that all just comes as one package, but we'd obviously split that up. It's not a single item. We can place those different items around the aircraft. So I wonder what happens if we just put all of that into one thing. Yeah, it won't let us. Okay, so we kind of need to spread that out. It doesn't tell us. Yeah, so let's split that. If we do Oh, cabin cargo, that's just the... Yeah, that's where we'd have to split everything up. Okay, that's fine. And then this cargo section over here with the rear baggage and all of that is the pod underneath, so external cargo. So let's jam as much as we, or almost as much as we can in here. So if we do 100 in there, 100 in there, and 50 in there, so that's 250. Oh, the other thing I actually need to put in is we're cruising at 8,000. Cool, that's probably going to bump up our fuel required to 1 kg more than we actually have, so we might end up changing that cruise. In fact, if we go up to like 15, doesn't want to. Oh, because I'm missing the 0, that's why. That's quite a bit better, so we might actually change that. It was at 8, so we'd probably do 16. Okay, that's must be too high, because it can't calculate that either, so 140? Okay, 347, so we might actually need to do that. Okay, so... let's go back to working this out. So we had 150. We've done 100 there, 100 there, and 50 there, which means we have 900 kgs left. So I wonder... if we instead do 50 and 50 here, so that will give us that gives us exactly 1,000 kgs left, and we can split that into, I'm trying to think what would be easiest. So if we do 4 sections of 250 each, is that going to be possible? I think so. And then basically this would just mean in the aircraft spreading out the weight as evenly as possible. If we did have the aircraft in real life, we could move things around and kind of work out the weights for the different zones. But for this kind of planning, we're just spreading it out evenly, which we'll do in the sim as well. Okay, so I think it seems like it's happy with that. Okay, I was gonna say it isn't. Why is this all in zone 2? Oh, I set this up wrong. Hang on. This is what I need to do, is just change the zones. It was all set to 1 zone, so we'll have zone 2, 3, 4, and 5, so just spreading the weight from front to back. Okay, so we're over our maximum ramp weight, and our CG is too far to the back. So let's put this in zone 2 as well, which moves our CG forward. If we put this in 3. Okay, so that's a bit better. Okay, but this is now saying we're overweight. Let's just look. FSEconomy has our aircraft's empty weight at 1522. our empty weight is 1792. Okay, so that's why we are over. Okay, then obviously in reality you wouldn't have this issue. You would have the actual empty weight of your aircraft. We don't need FSEconomy, so what I'll do is we're going to take off. Okay, so hang on, what was this? So this empty weight is 1792 and FSEconomy has 1522, so we'll take 270 kgs out of our notch here, out of this. Yo, that's a big difference. I mean, that's a whole section here. Okay, so max takeoff weight of 291. We're at 3291. We're at 3168. So I guess we can put a little bit in here. Okay, there we go. So we're 4 kgs under. That slightly better reflects what we have in FSEconomy, so that's cool. Let's keep it like that. Okay, so that's the weight done. So 396 kgs of fuel and just over a ton of cargo. Okay, Sishen, we have no weather data that the app can see, so let's see if I can find something in here. Just looking at active sky. Okay, cool. So active sky, we have winds 105 at 7 knots. Altitude 3848. That's what we have. These are true values. Outside temperature is only 13. Pretty chilly day today. And it is 1027. Why did this go to 350? It should be 105. Oh, 0. It's increments of 10, so we just do 100. There we go. Okay, so runway 17, that looks better. Surface is hard. No slope. Okay, so IPS will be on bypass. Pitot heat on, air conditioning on. Bleed heats and electrical heats we can leave off, that's fine. Okay, so we're expecting a takeoff roll of about 400 meters. Rotate at 60 knots. Torque. We're pretty much close to max, so 1.5 on the torque. We've got over a kilometer of runway remaining. And we climb out at 97 knots. Good. Okay, we don't have enough fuel, so I think we will be stopping along the way. We'll put in our temperature and stuff as we go. So that's cool. We're going to cruise at 75%, 2000 RPM, IPS off, air conditioning on. It is IFR. Okay, I'm not too worried about the alternate because the weather looks super clear. So if I look at East London, it's kind of windy, 18 degrees temperature, and then wind 260 at 13 knots, but no cloud cover whatsoever. And and the forecast doesn't expect any clouds for the rest of the day, so I think we might be okay, but we'll keep an eye on that and possibly fuel up if we need to. Okay, so we have 3.5 hours of fuel on board, or 3 hours 27, and we're expecting this flight to take us about 3 hours. So cutting it a little bit close there. Okay, if we just go through our risk assessment. Right, we are IFR. There's no red signets. Let me just check again quickly. And in fact, we can probably look here as well. Then you guys can also see. So if we go here to weather. Okay, that's visibility. Wow, looking pretty interesting down towards Cape Town, but nothing towards East London. I should have signets in here somewhere. Oh, that's turbulence, so let's just go sig. Okay, there's a little bit along here. That's all to do with fronts. There's no red boxes. Cool. Okay, so no thunderstorms, no rain. Forecast or reported icing. Let's have a look. If we come in here and go to icing, we'll set this to what, 14? I mean, there's nothing, it's all out over the ocean. So at 14,000, no issues. Okay, possible freezing rain, no. Autopilot, no. First flight after maintenance, no. Previous flights today, none. Fatigue, workday, all of that is good. Runway condition, dry. Less than 2,000 feet, no. Weather conditions, VFR. Winds gusting more than 25 knots, no. Crosswind greater than 15 knots. Let's actually go and work that out. So, firstly, what we need to do is just come back here. And let's go to East London. So, what did I say the winds were? 260. So we're landing on runway 29. So that gives us a heading of 289. Okay, so crosswind component. Wind direction 260 at 13. Runway heading is 289. So if we calculate that, we have a 6-knot crosswind from the left with 11 knots on the nose. Okay, no issues there. Weather below approach minimums nearby, no. Night, no. Precipitation, no. Near max takeoff weight, yes. So there's our first risk point. Steep terrain nearby, not really, no. No IFR ground clearance, that is true. IMC at cruise, maybe. So we are seeing overcast at 13,000 feet, so we'll turn that on because we might actually be in the clouds at 14,000. Okay, water crossing, no. Mountain range crossing beyond glide. Might actually have that. Let's get this out of the way for now. So we're not going over like Lesotho or anything, but we do have this. There's not a whole lot available here in terms of airports or anything. We've got Queenstown on that side and Alawal North up here. I think we be cautious and we'll say yes because it's something we need to be aware of. What does it say? Beyond gliding distance. Oh, or treeless off-road. Nah, I think we'll actually be fine with that. Because we're going to be pretty high, so we've got quite a bit of time to glide, and there will be open areas out there. Okay, now to ground level IMC, low pressure system. Okay, approach will be... we can do precision approach. There is an ILS. We're not circling. Ceiling is fine. IMC is fine. No, that is not true for VFR or IFR. Runway's dry. It's not less than 2,000. Weather conditions VFR. Winds gusting, no. Crosswinds, we checked. Wind shear, visibility, temperature, night precipitation, steep operating tower, steep unfamiliar operating tower, radar coverage, less than 2 hours fuel. So we're pretty low on the risk, so we are good to go. Right, let's jump back into the sim. And we can get going. Okay, so I started the FSEconomy flight and it's loaded some stuff in. So we just need to come here and check how it's done that. Because look at that, that's worrying. So firstly, fuel 130 gallons is correct. So I reckon we're going to take everything out of this. And then we're going to do here. So this, cargo bay 1. That is... why is this all in pounds? It is in the Kodiak, isn't it? I don't think we can change that in here, can we? Oh, we can. Yeah, never mind. And it's still in pounds because... oh, just the max value, so this has worked. Okay, so that's gonna do one at a time. That's gonna suck. So we're 50 in cargo bay 1, and this must be cargo bay 2, where we have another 50. Cargo bay 3 is also 50. Right, then we've got these. So row 1. So we've got zone 2, 3, 4, and 5, which must be these. This will be the packing shelf, cargo shelf. So then these we can do each 125, 125, and then that gives us our 250 per row. Forward. Yeah, so we're still quite bad aft, except I moved stuff around. So let me do some maths here. So we're not 250 in the front zone, we're actually 370. So 185 here. And then the last one Oh, that's right. So 370, 250, 250. That's correct. I feel like that didn't change this at all. This one, that's the cargo bay. This is gonna suck on takeoff if our CG is that far back. Okay, so let's shift some of this forward. So I just want to see how much of an effect this has. So if we do that, that's already better. And we can then add that bit more to the front here. I mean, we're only just within, but I guess it is going to be like that considering how heavy we are. Maybe we ditch this completely and just put it all in the front here, considering hopefully realistically that could fit in real life. That's pushed us another percentage forward. Oh wait, we should do it in this one. That's cargo bay 1. That'll be empty. Okay, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. That doesn't look realistic at all. We should be... oh well, I don't know. I think that's fine. Cool. And we can see our boxes of stuff there in the back. Right, let's jump aboard. And we can start setting up. Okay, so we'll just get the door closed. And we can latch that. Right. So yeah, that's just the process that I go through for planning these flights in the Kodiak. Okay, let's just make sure parking brake is set. Master switch on. Avionics. Okay, nav lights. Can accept that so long. Okay, engine inlet to bypass, because we are on the gravel / grass here. Right, then we come up here, fuel selectors on and on, and then we come down here and do fuel cutoff on. Okay, emergency power lever is normal. Prop is feathered and condition lever cuts off. Flaps are up. Circuit breakers. Cool. Oxygen panel. Oh, we can leave it on. Okay, cabin heat is off. Right, we need to check that we have a minimum of 24 volts. We've got 25. Beacon on. It is clear around us. Right, fuel pump on. Then Okay, ignition on, low start. So that comes up through 14, we can go low idle. Yeah, that seemed a bit different to normal, but it looks alright now. Okay, NG minimum 52, we're at 56. And then max ITT, we are nowhere near that, so we're good. Right, prop lever. Max. Fuel pump aux is now standby. Generator on. Alternator on. Aux bus on. Right, that is on in auto, and 25 we'll do 24, that's cool. Taxi lights on. Okay, then we need to call center for our clearance. There's no tower or anything here. So that will be 1185. Oops, wrong thing. Okay, 18.5. QNH has 1027. Johannesburg Control, good morning. Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo is type Kodiak 100 on the ground at Sishen, looking for IFR clearance to East London. Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo requests IFR clearance to East London.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, Johannesburg Control West, expect runway 17. Climb 7,000 feet on runway centerline, then expect radar vectors U-tray. Squawk 3414.
Expect runway 17, climb initially 7,000 feet, and then radar vectors to Uteri and squawk 3414, Kilo Delta Kilo.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, read back correct. Starter taxi at Pilot's discretion. Hold for release.
How's it struggling to pronounce it? Really?
Short runway 17.
Report holding short runway 17, Kilo Delta Kilo. Okay, so that's the next thing I need to do quickly, is just sort out that route. Okay, Okay, so it is direct. Okay, direct to Uteri. Let's actually do this easier to see. This is so much easier when you have a keyboard. Okay, direct to Uteri, direct to Ibtech. It's IBTEK. Direct to Exosi. That's a 0, we need an O. And another X. Exosi. And then direct to East London. Expecting 29 when we get there, but we can change that later. Very nice. Let's taxi to the runway. Oh, it has actually looked pretty overcast now compared to earlier. Oh, I just put away my tablet, but I need the checklist, which is on here. That checklist is available on flightsim.to as well. Okay, parking brake released. So we'll just go onto the main taxiway here and then onto, and then we'll have to backtrack. Is the angle of attack thing always here? I don't remember using that before. Okay, strobes, Pitot heats should be on, landing lights can come on. I think they've done some updates to this. This is new as well. Okay, I'm doing some nose down trim because we are aft CG. We can dial this up to 7,000. Yeah, I just want to set this speed. So our climb out was 97, so we'll set this to about 100. So I have a little bit of headroom on there as well. Okay, parking brake while we're here. Okay, so climb out at 100. And we're on runway heading, which is cool. So we'll go heading mode, flight level change. We'll sync up the heading once we line up with the runway. Okay, fuel selectors, fuel shutter, fuel quantity. Cool. Flaps. That's new as well. Okay, I feel like they've done quite a bit of updates to this aircraft. Okay, rudder trim. Aileron trim. Okay, lights are done, transponder set. Props full. Let's go high idle on the condition lever. We rotated 60. We're going to 1.5 on the top. Let's get out of this. This can go over to GPS. And controls Zulu Sierra, Kilo Delta Kilo, holding short runway 17 at Sishen.
Delta Kilo, released for departure. Clearance void if not off by 10:35 Zulu. If not off by 10:35 Zulu, contact no later than 10:45 Zulu. Time now 10:17 Zulu. Frequency change approved.
For departure, Kilo Delta Kilo. So we'll check in with them again after departure. sync up that heading. Okay, power set. There's 60 knots. A lot of right rudder on this aircraft. Okay, flaps are coming up. A little bit too much nose down trim, to be honest. Alright, let's get the autopilot on. We'll climb out at about 1,000 feet a minute. Yeah, let's just check in here. Transfer control, Zulu Sierra, Kilo Delta Kilo, just departed Sishen, passing 5,000 feet, climbing 7,000.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, Johannesburg Control West, identified. Continue climb to 7,000 feet.
So you climb to 7,000, Kilo Delta Kilo.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, turn left, heading 165. Expect further clearance in about 18 miles.
I'm just sorting out this rudder trim. Talk to ATC. Turn left heading 165, Kilo Delta Kilo.
Negative, turn left, heading 165.
Heading 165, Kilo Delta Kilo. Okay, this can come off. Taxi lights. Landing lights can come off as well. Cool. Flaps are up. Yaw damper is... oh, it's off. Okay, yaw damper's on now. Pitot heats are on. Inertial separators off. Landing lights, I guess technically we keep them on until 10,000, but we're basically general aviation, I guess. So it's fine. Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, request altitude change.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, roger, stay new altitude.
By level 140. Kilo Delta Kilo.
Julia Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, you broke up. Say again altitude.
Doesn't like 140 for some reason. Oh, I think we'll have to do odd first. By level 130, Kilo Delta Kilo.
Julia Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, confirm new altitude flight level 130.
Affirmative. Affirmative, Kilo Delta Kilo.
Julia Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, rotor, climb to flight level 130.
Up to flight level 130, Kilo Delta Kilo.
Julia Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, climb to flight level 130.
Climb to flight level 130, Kilo Delta Kilo.
Julia Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, join us for Control West. Expect radar vectors, ILS runway 29er.
Expect radar vectors for the ILS runway 29, Kilo Delta Kilo. We're a bit far for that, buddy. That is mad. Okay, we're climbing up to 130. Speed is fine. Just doing a gentle climb at 1,000 feet a minute. I can bump this up a bit now because we're in the climb. Probably bring this up a little as well. Let's climb a little quicker. Keeping an eye on the ITT and the torque. And the NG actually, which is over 100. Okay, we're cleared to a flight level.
Julia Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, cleared direct entry. Resume on navigation.
Direct to Terry, Kilo Delta Kilo. Okay, so let's just do direct, and then we'll go nav, and I'm also going to just do PFD options standard because we're going to an altitude, to a flight level. Right, let's pop this into flight level change, and we'll just keep it at about 120. Looks like we might be sitting right in this layer, which is a bit annoying. Okay, a little high on the ITT, so we can back off a bit. Coming up to 11,000. ITT coming up again as we keep climbing. 12,000 feet, 1,000 to go. There's the flash. Very nice. Not all that much out in this part of the world. Okay, what's our temperature outside? -3. Okay, there we are leveling off. So 75% cruise at 2000 RPM. Wants us at a torque of only 994, so we'll go down to 1000. Bring the prop back to 2000. Settle into the cruise. So this is where these figures get a little bit mixed up. So we're at just over 1,000 on the torque, 2,000 on the RPM, and this says we should have a true airspeed of 143, and ours is probably going to be vastly different to that. So it says 143, our true airspeed is currently 157. Okay, fuel flow, this says we should be at 234. We are at 233, that's pretty good. That is the closest I've ever seen it. It's really cool to see, actually. So considering we are doing about 6 or 7 knots more than this is expecting us to do, we'll get there slightly quicker. Weather now says overcast at 14,200 feet, which is why we are not in the clouds. Okay, then I guess we just settle in for about 2.5 hours worth of cruising along. So I guess I will see you again later when we prep for our descent into East London. Okay, so we are not too far from our final waypoint, and then East London after that. And the weather was looking okay. As you can see, we're into our reserve fuel. So now I'm starting to feel like I may have pushed it a little bit far. There's even some rain down out this side. East London Airport is now saying broken clouds at 3,900 feet, which is not an issue. We should be able to make it in, but I think realistically may have gone a little bit further. And if we wanted to play it super safe, I should have stopped off at Bloemfontein or something like that to refuel. But it is what it is. There are a bunch of small airports along here. Can't remember which one that is. There's Queenstown, and this is all Stutterheim, and I think this one is Cathcart. These are all in the Stud area. There's another one out there, so if it gets really bad, we can probably get into one of those. These are smaller airports, grass strip, or possibly asphalt. Queenstown is a little bit bigger, but I think we should be alright. Although, look at that, there's now rain all over the place here. There was none of this earlier, and it wasn't really forecast to be around. Mind you, it could very well be that it's raining here and there's absolutely nothing near East London, so we're hoping for that, I guess. Otherwise, we've been cruising along nicely. Handed over to Cape Town. Cape Town Control, that is. Just after we crossed into their airspace. Other than that, there have been a couple of Airlink planes, a couple of SAF planes heading in and out of East London, and that's about it. So now we're looking at about 15 minutes to Exosi, and we're expecting them just to let us know shortly which runway we'll be taking. That doesn't look very encouraging though. That's worrying. Look out, yeah, we see rain all over the place here. Okay, that is a bit concerning. Clouds are fairly high level though, because remember we do have an ILS in East London, so we can ride the ILS underneath that. But if you have a big rain patch like that, it's still going to make things pretty difficult. So Mthatha Airport over there and Bishu there. Just want to check our numbers again. So 13,000 feet. Let's bring that torque back to about 1,000. We can actually do 990. About there. And oh, at 13,000 feet, minus 5 degrees. They actually wanted us cruising at 1,050. just to compare to the numbers here. 1050, 2000 RPM, 13,000 feet, minus 5 degrees outside. And we are predicting a fuel flow of 247, and ours is 247.48. So that's bang on. That's awesome to see. Okay, if we want to save fuel, we bring the torque back to 900. So I'm going to do that now. So they're going for our max range cruise power. It's actually 907, so if we're around 910, that's fine. 2000 RPM, I mean. Okay, and that is predicting a fuel flow of 221, and we're at 222, 221, hovering around there. That's bang on. Yeah, so we're going to slow down a little, but it should give us a bit of increased range. So we should be landing with about 40 kgs of fuel, which is not a lot. But that weather is now starting to concern me a little. The yellow wasn't out here by the coast, and now it is forming there, so it's a little worrying. Stopping in a Queenstown would have been cool, but we're a little far for that now. There's this one here, ID, that's Iduchua. These are Stutterheim. Iduchua looks like it's pretty thick over there, so if we did go now, going to Stut would make the most sense. Rain just came out of nowhere. I don't think Beyond ATC can do diversions now that I think about it. Sure. And I mean, about 20 minutes ago there was nothing on here. Oh, look at it out there now. Also, sometimes I feel like this next ride isn't all that accurate, because it's like it'll be raining just over here, and maybe it's to do with the way Active Sky injects weather into the sim, but like there will be rain everywhere, and when you get over there, everything disappears. Okay, so we're expecting 29. East London is still reporting 200 at 9 knots, so we're expecting to get runway 29. Okay, so ILS intercept is at 2,000 feet. So we've got to descend 11,000 feet. Our ground speed currently, got true airspeed there, ground speed is here, 150. Let's go and set up for the ILS runway 29. We can come back and put that in just now. I had the wrong approach. They intercepted 2,000 anyway, and then minimum's 585. So actually just do this again. So it'll be Barrow. So we'll do 590. Okay, 15, and that's it on 29. That's correct. Right heading 195 vectors, Kilo Delta Kilo. Okay, let's just go heading right to 195. Okay, I'm not actually sure what I just did here now. See, and it's not giving me this top of descent here. So if we descend now, basically we'd have to go down at 500 feet a minute. So we can leave that for a bit, descend at about 1,000. It does actually look pretty rough down there. Long vectors here. I mean, we're quite a way out. I suppose we were just about at that final waypoint, so actually it does make sense because they never gave us an arrival. Okay, 1099 is in, course 289. so our approach speed is going to be 85 with 75 1 mile.
Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, turn right, heading 275.
Right heading 275 Kilo Delta Kilo. That is a big right turn. That's a bit strange. Gonna bring us in on the other runway now, watch. Anyway, so we will be 85 knots. So at 15 miles, we'll gradually start slowing down to 85 on approach, and then down to 75 over the thresholds. So we're still pretty heavy.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, turn left, heading 200.
Left heading 200 Kilo Delta Kilo. Okay, the next route is not actually helping us at this point. Let's just turn that up. And I don't see any other aircraft in the area. We haven't heard anyone on frequency for a while either. Okay, 30 miles from that point. See, now we get... oh, bottom of descent. See, I don't need to descend this quickly. Actually, that's only 700 feet a minute. Yeah, we can start our descent now. Kilo Delta Kilo, ready for descent. Landing runway 29, Kilo Delta Kilo. Start our descent at like 800.
Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo. Contact East London approach 120.1.
Doesn't actually give me a descent yet. 120.1, Kilo Delta Kilo. Good day. Okay, we actually need to do some work here. 120.1. East London approach, good afternoon. Zulu Sierra, Kilo Delta Kilo, flight level 130. vectors for ILS runway 29 and QNH 1026 Kilo Delta Kilo.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1026.
Descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1026 Kilo Delta Kilo. I'm going to do 1,000 and leave the power where it is. So we'll pick up speed, but it just means we'll get there a little quicker. Looks like we should be alright, as long as it's like that. Some rain out that way. There's the coast there, actually. Okay, 1026. Let's just double check here. 1099, 289. 1099, 289. Except at 2,000 we cleared down to 5,000. Minimum's 585. It's disappeared. Okay, 10,000 feet. So we can actually do landing lights, taxi light as well. So oxygen is nearly done. We can turn that off, I guess. I don't actually need that anymore. We're still not yet picking up the ILS. Okay, pitot heats are on. We're going to be punching through the clouds shortly. But now it's 0 degrees. Passing through 8,500 feet.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo. Turn right, heading 225. Vectors for the approach.
Right, heading 225 Kilo Delta Kilo. ILS is alive, well, localizer is alive. Glide slope looks like it's alive as well, but we're way above it. So let's start slowing down. 16 miles out. And I will go prop full as well. Okay, checks. Fuel selectors both open. Shut off is down.
Descend to 4,000 feet.
Descend to 4,000 feet. Kilo Delta Kilo. Okay, inertial separator. We'll go ahead and turn on just in case we go through the weather here. And there's rain.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo. Turn left. Heading 210.
Left heading 210, Kilo Delta Kilo. Okay, so that's on bypass. Lights are on. Fuel condition lever high idle. Prop full forward. Landing lights. And these guys should be locked. Cool. We just gradually slow down to 85 knots for our approach. We're into the clouds now. There comes our glide slope. So we're catching up to that at least. A little bumpy in here, it seems. Over the ocean. Right, we are now below the glide slope. Slowly bringing back the power because we're going to level off at 4,000 here. That's as far as we are cleared. Still 13 miles out, so we can keep it around 120 knots, that's fine. I should have no issues here. It's actually nice and clear below the overcast layer. Just need to turn to the right now. There we go.
Descend to 3,000 feet.
Okay, it's a descent. Descend to 3,000 Kilo Delta Kilo. Turn right heading 270, maintain 2000 until established and cleared for the ILS runway 29, Kilo Delta Kilo. Right, we are on the ILS now. Glide slope is above us still, so that's cool. 12 miles out and we're on the localizer. we've got almost no fuel left, so we're just gonna make it. Kilo Delta Kilo, runway 29, localizer established. Quite a bit of wind from the left.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, affirmative. Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, contact East London Tower 118.3, bye-bye.
118.3, good day, Kilo Delta Kilo. Good afternoon, Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, ILS 29 established.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo, East London Tower, wind 230 at 9er, runway 29er cleared to land.
Kilo land, runway 29, Kilo Delta Kilo. No other aircraft coming into East London at this point, or out of East London for that matter. Probably could have asked for the visual approach, would have been a lot quicker. Glide slope is slowly catching up. Rain whatsoever, so I think it's that whole thing with the so at that point Active Sky injects the rain, but it does it for the entire sim and then changes it as you go, but that's why it looks like it's raining everywhere, but it's actually just where you currently are. That's my theory anyway. Okay, onto the glide slope. Start slowing down now to 85. Did not mean to zoom out. Is shifting around.
All aircraft be advised, information India now current, QNH 1026.
Okay, QNH 1026 is the same as what we have right now. Let's start getting some flaps in. Watch that airspeed really bleed off when the flaps come in. flaps. Okay, flaps full. Oh, that speed is dropping like a stone. That was very messy. Let's try and keep it a bit more stable here. Okay, we'll ditch the autopilot. It's interesting because I flew the new 777 from PMDG, the 777-200 this morning. When I disconnected the autopilot, it also did that crazy nose down that just happened. Taxiway, Kilo Delta Kilo. Okay, flaps. Oh, I don't. Landing lights, strobe lights. Request taxi to assign ramp. Oh, just made it. In terms of fuel, I mean.
Zulu Sierra Kilo Delta Kilo. Ramp Sierra 1, taxi at pilot's discretion.
Sierra 1, taxi at pilot's discretion. Kilo Delta Kilo. So that's just the... there's 2 GA ramps down there. Why this airlink plane is here in this like random cargo place. Sapphire is in the right place. Okay, fuel condition, lever, low idle, taxi lights on, landing lights off, strobes off, flaps up. Pitot heat. Now we can turn the bypass off. I guess we can keep it on. So go down this way. Whoops. Yeah, it's over there actually where I need to go. I don't know why this airlink plane is here. I can probably turn off the taxi lights at this point. Let's go left over here. People are where we're supposed to park. Having a good old conversation here, it seems. Yeah, There's our FSEconomy flight logged. Okay, parking brake. Air conditioning. Aux bus off. Power lever is idle. Prop. Feather. Alternator. Generator. ITT. Yeah, pretty stable, I would say. So, fuel cutoff. Oxygen's off. Fuel selector switches. Off and off. Harnesses. Cuts off. Avionics off. Lights, beacon, and nav. What is that noise? Ah, okay. So that is now off instead of standby. Controls and master off. Alright, there we are, arrived. Actually sounds a little bit windy here. It's always windy in East London. Very nice, welcome to East London. We only just made it on fuel, but we are here safely. And, that was a pretty fun flight, actually. For a moment there with the weather, I thought we were in trouble, but everything turned out okay. You guys are having a very intense conversation right just here in on the apron. Interesting. Okay, but enough messing around. That's going to bring us to the end of this episode. I have now purchased this Kodiak in FSEconomy, so we will be flying this even more around South Africa, earning a bit of cash. But for this video, that's going to bring us to the end. As always, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy it, you know what to do down below. And hopefully I see you in the next one, as the weather seems to be deteriorating quite rapidly. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.